Alright traders, I'm back again with another video, and this video we're going to take a look at the US dollar yuan. This video is just an update to the previous video I put out about an opportunity with the yuan to take a short opportunity based off of Ichimoku numbers. I started to use a little bit of Ichimoku time theory, and one of our numbers was 42. So based off of what you see right here, you can see this is 42 bars from here to here. So 42 is one of our Ichimoku numbers, so that's where we start to look for Hinka-B, which is the day of change. So when that day of change, we were looking for the market to drop, basically because all the Ichimoku signals were bearish, even though we were at a minor support and resistance level, because we looked at this level as being a support level, but it was never really tested prior to that. So if you go back and look at that level to see where it was anything, and you don't really see much in the immediate area. So let's see if we see anything at all to really tell us that we should have paid honor to this level. So there's this big wick right here, probably a big news day. Alright, so if we put this right on the base here, it still has a pretty good area on it. So it's not exactly a great area, but there is some reason for to believe that it could have been a support and resistance level. But other than that, I don't see much more to give me any optimism that this level would have held. Let's see what we got back here. Okay, so that's all I'm seeing right now. Alright, so that's it right there. We're going to just go with that. Alright, so we're not looking at this level as a really super strong level. And I had mentioned in the video prior that we talked about, so let's go back and recap on that video, and then we'll come back up to speed here. I have 41 bars here. 42 is one of the days that we're looking for. So that is going to be what you call Hinka-B, which is day of change. So on day 42, we're looking for a day of change. So we're at a support and resistance level. So pretty much we would have kind of expected that level to hold. But when you look at Ichimoku, things are telling you that this is a bearish opportunity. Because let me show you here. We have a TK crossover that's bearish. Our cloud is bearish, and we don't have anything flat like this, right? And then everything is starting to angle to the downside, you can see. And then when you really want to get into a trade, guys, to the downside or to the upside, you want to make sure that Tenkan-sen and Kijun-sen, so both of those are pointing your direction that you want to go in, because that's gives you some momentum for your trade. And then the next thing that we looked at here, so you got your TK crossover, your future is dark. Chico span is below price right here, and there's nothing to stop Chico span, but there is a hidden level that could stop us that I'm going to talk about. And then price right here is below the cloud, which is major, so we have all bearish signs. Alright, so we are back with the real deal here. So I was talking about this opportunity, told you that it was a bearish opportunity based off of all Ichimoku things, everything Ichimoku was telling us to go to the downside, no matter what anything else told us, okay? Because basically you're at 42 bars here, and really I had it at 41, but 42 is our number, plus or minus 1, and when you see that number, you're expecting the change in the market. You're expecting the market to drop to the downside based off of Ichimoku signals. So you could see what happened from that day where I made the video until currently, a nice big move here. Alright, so we had an opportunity to get into a nice short trade and get some profit. So we want to find out where our targets are going to be, alright, right? So that's what we're going to look at. But from that day that we talked about taking that short opportunity, you could see the market dropped 472.2 pips since that day. So that's a pretty big trade, pretty good trade there. And there's still no sign of the market dropping, returning back to the upside or looking for a long opportunity. Now we're probably going to get a pullback here, but I'm going to show you where our targets are, where we're looking for our targets. Now based off of what the market's doing now, you got strong angulation to the downside with everything on Ichimoku. There's nothing to stop us in this trade right now. Probably just get a correction and the market continue to the downside. So we want to see where our ultimate target's going to be. So I know we kind of probably went past one of our targets, but let's just go. So when we talk about Ichimoku, we talk about everyone learns the basic concepts of Ichimoku, okay? So you learn the 5 lines and what they mean, and you take a trade based off of this and that, and you need these 4 signals, blah, blah, blah. All right, so you take those basic Ichimoku signals, and you don't understand the more advanced part of Ichimoku is looking at time and looking at your time value and your wave and your observation value. So what we want to look at is where our observation value for where our target is going to be. So how we do that, Ichimoku is based off of waves. Pretty much the market moves in waves, and then you have targets based off of those waves. So looking at those waves, we're going to look where our targets are. So those targets would be NT level and N level. The N level you probably already know, but never really knew you were looking at an N level. The N level is when the market does a 1-to-1 ratio, which is a AB equals CD move. All right, that's basically what that is. That's one of the most popular moves you're going to see. All right, then you're going to have a V level, and then you're going to have an E level, and then after the E level there's E2, E3, and so forth. So I'm going to show you where, based off of Ichimoku, where we think the market's going to go. So I already have these values set into my fib extension tool. So I use that when I'm in a trade, and use that to look for my target, where I'm going to get out of the trade, where I want the trade to move to, where I think the trade may go to. All right, so basically you just set up your fib tool, and you got to have your numbers set in there. I already got my numbers set in there. So you could see this first level right here is the NT level. This is your N level. This is your V level, and this is your E level. And I don't have E2 and E3 and so forth marked, because it's rare that the market blows past E level, but it can do that. But most of the time I'm looking for profit at the 1-to-1 level, which is right there at this point right here. All right, so I'm usually looking for profit right there. All right, but the market continued to move lower. So in a strong trending market, guys, when the market's trending really strong, even if you're just looking at basic Ichimoku, you get off of a basic Ichimoku signal, you could see that with a nice strong trend, the market never comes back above Tenkan-sen pretty much. So you don't come and close pretty much above Tenkan-sen. That lets you know that you got a strong trend going on. Look at the angulation of everything here. So we're looking for our target. Now we just made it to this level here. All right, so this is our V level, and then our next level is our E level. So ultimately we would take all of our profit there if the market gets there. Now we look at price action where the market gets to our levels. So when the market gets to one of these levels, I'm going to watch to see if it's gonna, how it reacts at that level. So if it shows signs of rejection or indecision, then maybe I get out, or I do 2 candles behind the market, or however I'm going to trade. There's a couple different things you could do. All right, but looking at this, guys, that's just what we're looking at. So pretty much, if you didn't take this trade, it's kind of late now. The train has already left the station. Okay, so just wanted to give you an update on how that trade worked out. You could see where it's moving to. You can see where it may go to, and you can see what it does. It doesn't close above Tenkan-sen in a strong trend. Now when that trend gets weak and that market comes back inside there, then you can know that you got a weak trend. Pretty much like, look at here. Look how strong this trend to the downside was. The market never closed inside of Tenkan-sen, but then it closed inside of Tenkan-sen, inside of your TK zone here. I call this your TK zone because you're between your Tenkan-sen and your Kijin-sen. The blue line is Kijin-sen, green line Tenkan-sen, and then the market broke Tenkan-sen, Kijin-sen, which is basically like our trend line. So it let you believe that there was a move to the upside was going to be relevant. But if you look at Ichimoku, you'll see that this was an N wave, and the market continued to move to the downside. Now you could also look at the values here, okay, because you could look at the long-term value, which is coming from this point over to this point and down to this point. Now I hate to use this big long wick here. All right, but because that's probably a lot of news. But now based off of that, okay, so our trade will probably go to our N level, which is right here. I'm going to mark it with a dashed line. So that's our N level, which is a 1-to-1 ratio, which means basically this leg, which is your AB leg. This is your equal sign because it's the correction, and this is your C, and wherever our D leg would be 1-to-1 would be right here. So you would look for the market to go to that point. All right, so you're saying the market's going to go to about 6.66294 in that area. All right, this is your NT value here. And this is your N value. It's exactly 1-to-1 ratio right there. All right, so let me get rid of that. And also another thing we could look at. When I'm looking at the market, okay, you also look at saying, I said this was AB equals CD, but I'm also looking for these moves right here, which is going to be a 1, a 2, and a 3. When I see the 1, 2, 3 pattern develop, then I start looking for the Ichimoku waves, and then I kind of know when I hit that 3, and I don't have to know, I showed you guys this before, I don't have to know this is 3 exactly at this point here. That is 3. I might not know it's 3 till the market gets here or here, but once I know that's 3, then I can kind of start to know where the market may go based off of the 1-to-1 value, because all you're saying is this leg here is going to be the same length as this leg. These two legs are going to be the same length, which would take us down to this point right there. All right, so that's the way you do it, and you look for those targets. So most people don't even have to ask me where is the target, because we already know how to find our targets. So the ways that we find our targets are a bunch of ways. So when you're going 1, 2, 3, so 1, 2, 3, right? You always want to get at least to 2. That's going to be one of your first targets. And then after 2, you want to start looking for your Ichimoku values. And then also I like to look to my left to find support and resistance levels, relevant levels where the market may react. So that's what you do for your targets. I really don't have to have anyone, when I send out a trade setup, no one really needs to ask me where is my target, because you can find the targets based off of everything that we've learned and I've shown you. Okay, so the last thing I suppose is, let's go back to the 4-hour, to the let me move this back. All right, let's go like this. So this level right here, this is based off of the bigger 1-to-1 ratio, which would give us the N value right here. So then we did this level also. So let's see where it's gonna, if they coincide with each other. All right, see if we could see if this coincides with each other. So we came from this point. So this 1-to-1 ratio here is not quite where our E level is, our E value. So the market's probably going to come in this area more than likely. I just want to watch always to see what the market does with price action here, because you could still expect certain things to happen much like this. All right, there's levels that I'm looking for the market to come to for me to get back into this trade if I'm not in the trade. So if you didn't catch the trade, you don't want to catch the trade here. All right, you want to catch the trade in a better area, because here we don't know if it's going to continue. It could probably correct itself and then go back to the downside. So we want to get the end of the correction, and then when you're always looking at the correction, you're going to see 1, 2, 3. It's always in the smaller wave. 1, 2, 3. Got 4 wherever 4 is. 1, 2, 3. Looking for 4 down here. So you got this all over the chart, but you just want to see it. But now we're looking for price. Price usually pulls back to the Tenkan-sen. You can see here, pulls back to your Tenkan-sen. That's where you could get some good opportunities. So as far as Tenkan-sen keeps moving, if this trend stays strong, you don't really want to catch it here, because if it pulls back, you're being a drawdown. So you want to wait for it to pull back, see if it gets the Tenkan-sen. So basically what I do, I trade levels. I trade LST, a level, signal, trigger. I don't trade until I get to a level that I'm looking for. So I have all kinds of levels that I look for. So I'll go over some of them really quickly. One of the levels is Tenkan-sen. I'm going to look for a trade there. And Kijun-sen. I'm going to look for a trade there. Top of the cloud, bottom of the cloud. Looking for a trade there. All right. And then my support and resistance levels that I may draw in, horizontal support and resistance. and then some other opportunities, some other levels that I really look at and love to trade. All right, some of my most profitable trades. But that's what I do. So first, I always want to have that level. Next thing, I want to get my signal and my trigger in order to get into a trade. So I need these three things: level, signal, and trigger. Level, we don't have a level yet, so we don't even look for the trade. One of our levels, when the market gets to one of our levels right here, then we'll start looking for the trade again. All right, then we'll start looking for the signal and then the trigger, and then we'll get into the trade. If you never get all three, you don't really take a trade. That's basically simple as pie. You don't get all three, you don't trade. All right. All right, I think I pretty much outdid myself and talked about all that I could talk about. I just wanted to show you an update to the US dollar won and show you that the opportunity was there for a short trade based off of all Ichimoku signals. It's not anything that I'm doing, guys. It's not me. It's just basically looking at the charts real well, understanding the system and seeing the things that are happening. Ichimoku gives you plenty good opportunities to get into really good trades. It may look sloppy at first, and you got to get used to that, but then once you start to really learn it and understand it, it's not sloppy. You could see the good things. All right, because to me, all right, if I go back in this chart and if I take let me take this target off here. So when I remove that, this doesn't look sloppy to me. None of this looks sloppy to me. All right, basically looks just like some moving averages. That's what you got here. Basically moving averages, all these this two moving averages are filled in. These two could have been filled in. It would look just like this one. So that's all it is. You got 5 moving averages on here basically: Chiku span, your Tenkan-sen, your Kijun-sen, Senko span A and B. All right, and that's it. Then you have your Ichimoku signals, and then you have the more advanced Ichimoku as far as like your waves and your time analysis and so forth. All right, guys. But if you're interested in this, come visit my site, www.fxat1glance. Check me out. And if you like to learn Ichimoku, that's a good place for you to learn it. All right, guys. Just wanted to update on this. Hope this helps somebody. Until next time, God bless. So long.